Time to take it to the dirt. This is Slingin Dirt. 1 hour of dirt track talk. Now, here are Ashley Stremme and Steve Post.
Hey, happy Tuesday. You know what that means. It is time for some Slingin Dirt. We're going to talk about modifieds and late models all day today. We have four possibly, maybe three, amazing guests joining us today. We have Dave Blaney, the Buckeye Bullet. He is back in a big block for Super Dirt Week, the last run at the Moody Mile. We've got Rick Eckert. He picked up the Firecracker 100, and I couldn't think of a more better nickname other than Scrub for Rick Eckert. And we have Derrick Ramey joining us. He's a Renegades of Dirt National and Southern Points leader. And last and maybe not least, we might have David, my own husband, on remote location today, maybe checking in with us at the end to just give us a little update on the IMCA Super Nationals. I'm your host, Ashley Stremme. Alongside me today, and I'm so excited and I'm so privileged, I have Mr. Steve Post.
What is up with that?
Thanks for joining us today, Posty.
Usually I'm prefaced by jackass or something like that. So, Mr. Wow.
Not ever in my book, Posty.
We have, this is great. This is great to hang out with you in Slingin Dirt. We're going to return the favor at the top of the next hour because you're going to be Kendra Jacobs in Wing Nation. So, 2 hours.
AP Palooza right here.
AP Palooza, Ashley and Postman Palooza, or the longest relationship I've had with a woman in 10 years. That's what this is. So we're looking forward to
I love it.
Really exciting stuff what's going on in the late model and modified world, Ashley. And just can't wait to talk to these guys and see what's happening in their worlds.
Now, folks, our listeners, our viewers at home, mash your brakes. I want you to pump them real quick because I know what you're thinking right now. Posty, yes, he does have Wing Nation that he does next. He is a sprint car guy. But what most of you probably don't know, and I was one of them until a year ago, he actually has a background in modifieds. Posty, give us a little rundown of where you grew up, what your home track was, and
yeah, I grew up in northeastern Pennsylvania. Exactly. Grew up in northeastern Pennsylvania. My home tracks, and I love the dirt modifieds, the Super Dirt Series, the DIRT, big block modifieds. Grew up 5 Mile Point Speedway in Binghamton, New York, Penn Can Speedway in Susquehanna, Pennsylvania. They were my 2 home tracks. So I spent a lot of time doing that. And honestly, the dirt modifieds were my first love, first passion, way before sprint cars. Sprint cars came in the last 5 or 6 years as we've had fun with Wing Nation here on MRN. But in Pennsylvania, I was always, when I was up in the Northeast, I would always predominantly head to New York State and see the Super Dirt Series, or the CRC Chemicals Dirt Trail, or whatever it was called
now
at
you're
the time.
Showing some age.
Yeah, the old Ithaca Gun 358 tour. So I love the dirt modifieds. I really do, and I love when we get a chance to see them, whether it's at Volusia or whether it's a chance at the World Final. So I love the dirt modifieds. Grew up literally, Ashley, every Saturday night of my life was at 5 Mile Point Speedway. My joke with everybody is that my first Saturday night that I missed, that I recall by design, I mean, we'd have trips to Canada fishing and family vacations and stuff. But the first night I ever missed at 5 Mile Point was the night of my junior prom. And I had so much fun at that junior prom that the night of my senior prom, I was at 5 Mile Point Speedway.
Oh, stop it. You're kidding me.
Which maybe describes the whole 2-hour relationship with women has never really worked out, But another topic here, and this is not Dr. Phil's show. This is but I love the dirt modifieds, and I love what you and David are doing with the dirt modifieds, and I can't wait to talk to Dave Blaney. A lot of talk about Super Dirt Week this year with the fairgrounds going away, and I have some thoughts about that, and I love the dirt modifieds. So my background is actually more Slingin Dirt than it is Wing Nation.
That's exactly right.
So that's why it's so great to be here.
Our roles are literally reversed.
Yeah.
I grew up a sprint car girl, now I'm mods and late models, and you're vice versa. So it's really cool. When you love racing as much as we do, it doesn't matter what it is. You can race wheelbarrows for all we care. We'll talk about it for sure.
And ultimately, when MRN came and said, hey, we want to develop some new programs beyond our NASCAR coverage, and our NASCAR coverage on MRN is second to none. We get that. We understand that. And really, because the sprint cars and the World of Outlaws is more of a national brand, if you will.
Sure, absolutely.
That was the first step. And I said, I just want to get back to covering dirt track racing. I mean, if it's sprint cars, if it were late models, if it were modifieds, whatever is the best way for MRN to get in the dirt track world, that's where I want to go. The World of Outlaws sprint cars made the most sense because of the national platform it's on. And that's where we started, and that's where the whole sprint car thing came. But I'm a modified guy through and through.
Well, he's also posse.
There we go. Oh, boy.
That's right. I am proud to say that Posty and I are from the same state. Yeah. Otherwise, we probably wouldn't have the relationship that we do. But
that's right. Absolutely. Yeah. That's right. Hey.
I always love working with Posty. He's been an awesome mentor. Truly blessed to work beside you when I have the opportunity
you need
to.
Aim higher on that mentorship
Oh, stop,
scale.
Post.
Exactly.
Listen, I've always said if you could look up announce or anything established with that, your name is beside it in the dictionary for sure. You're definitely impressive, and when you make the trip to Pennsylvania, everyone tells me about how awesome you are.
I love coming. I love going to any dirt track. I really
absolutely,
do. It's
right?
all good.
So we did some racing this weekend.
Yeah, you guys were at.
We were in Illinois. We were, yeah. The Farmer City, I believe it was Friday night.
Right.
Yeah, we got rained out, so we didn't get to watch any racing, but we did get to watch some tractor pulls that night. The pits got flooded, and every single truck and trailer had to be pulled out. So that was interesting. And then, of course, Saturday night we were at Fairbury, also known as Falls. Posty, I grew up at Port Royal Speedway, and will always be my home track, and I think that track's just amazing no matter what. But Falls really comes at a tie, maybe close second. We'll go with the tie. Just the way the local people get behind their racetracks like that is just unbelievable. The fact that when the races are over, you better not want to go get something to eat because the fans in the stand are standing at the pit entrance waiting for that checkered flag to fall so they can rush the pits. It's absolutely amazing.
It is. I had a chance to get there years ago, and my take on that, and I remember at that time thinking, if ever in life, whatever career situation, family, whatever situation, put you in a small town somewhere in America. And to me, part of a small town would be making sure there's a really good racetrack there. I thought about that as I was leaving Fairbury that night. I said, you know what, if I ever ended up in small town America, Fairbury, Illinois would be a really cool thing because on the weekends, we knew we have our Saturday night track or our Friday night track or whatever it is, wherever it is in your town, because it fits into that town really so well. Similarly to Port Royal. I'm like, if I'm not out running all over the world doing NASCAR coverage. I'm doing a normal day in and day out routine. I have a great job, great family, everything. But boy, on my weekend, I get a chance to go to the local dirt track. And Fairbury, to me, really, really kind of set that up. This is short track America at its finest. And so I love the one night that I was there, and I'm glad to hear you guys just being there this weekend had the same sense from it because it's a great, great little racetrack.
Yeah, we had race back there for the Prairie Dirt Classic that they have. It's like their largest race of the year up there. And we had to go back. When we found out the modifieds were going to be there this weekend, we want to race there as much as possible. It's just a shame that it's 11 hours away from us. But amazing, amazing place. It's definitely a bucket list item. If you're looking for a dirt track to get to, it's really cool, and just you turn on 3rd Street, like in Port Royal. You turn on 3rd Street, and right there's the racetrack, and people are riding their golf carts to the track, and you got to eat at this place, and you got to try this, and it's absolutely amazing what Fairbury, and it's run by the American Legion, so it's really cool what they're doing there.
Great track.
But we got some huge winners this weekend, and another big thing, our fun fact. I always do a fun fact.
Okay.
We've talked about Syracuse. 2 big races this weekend. We've got the IMCA Super Nationals and the World 100 at Eldora this weekend.
Wow.
Right now, as of, I don't even know what today is. As of September 3rd, that was what? Sunday? Bless. My days are all run together. There is 91 entries for the World 100 right now, which surprises me. I thought there would be a few more by now. I thought for sure we would have already hit 100, but we're only at 91, but it's still the biggest race of the year. Even though the dream pays more than the World 100, the World 100 is the one that everybody wants to win.
The history of that race, the long-standing history of that race, and of course it's at Eldora, so any trophy from Eldora is coveted. It doesn't matter, sprint car, Camping World Truck Series truck, street stock, bomber car, grocery getter, or World 100. Yeah, World 100, you want to win there. And, and it's just so exciting when we have these big race weekends. And, all eyes will be focused on what I think is really so cool about the World 100, and this is where kind of my NASCAR world comes into play, is throughout this weekend, a lot of weekends where I'm at the racetrack, I'll be hanging out with Larson or Casey Kane or Tony Stewart, what's going on at the sprint car world.
Yeah.
This weekend, I'm also going to be sliding up alongside of Austin and Ty Dillon up in Richmond and say, what's going on at the World 100? What's going on up there? Because those kids also understand the passion of it, and that's the beauty of Eldora and the World 100. That is one of those bucket list late model races that everybody has to win. It's
that
just
trophies.
trophies. It's just
just
huge.
a globe inside of it, but everybody has to have it, and that's what makes it so cool.
If you have one of them,
you've done something.
Check that off. That's a bucket list check off for a driver.
And speaking of somebody who has one, he has several. Scott Bloomquist.
Yeah.
He's kind of been a name that hasn't been around the last few months. He's kind of struggled. I know he's had some personnel changes. He's regrouped. He's currently 5 for 5 right now. He picked up 3 more this weekend, Attica, Portsmouth, and he won the Hillbilly 100 at I-77 this weekend. Some other big names, and it's cool to see all these names rolling into the World 100. Billy Moyer Jr. picked up 2 wins. Senior picked up the Earl Bolts Classic. Right. Ferguson at Cherokee, he's actually making his first appearance at the World 100. Daryl Lanigan picks up 3 in a row for the World of Outlaws at Selinsgrove this weekend. I mean, Jimmy Mars, he won the Corn Belt Clash at Fairbury. He was in a small accident. The names building up that are in the winners list for the World 100 are phenomenal.
You know, we talked about this, and again, shifting to the sprint car world, we talked about guys with momentum going into the Knoxville Nationals. And we had it, whether it was some Pennsylvania guys, some Ohio guys, Danny Lasowski, and that's the same thing that's happening with the World 100. It's like there's not these big name drivers, Billy Moyer and Chris Ferguson, Daryl Lanigan picking up wins, Scott Bloomquist. Everyone is hitting on 8 cylinders.
That's right.
Coming into the World 100, which just builds the anticipation. This is going to be an exciting weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm excited. We're all excited. Speaking, I got to throw some mods in real quick. Jason Crone, he picked up 2 wins for the USMTS. Good friend of ours. Jason Hughes, Rodney Sanders. These names, you're going to hear them all the time. Stuart Friesen, Matt Shepard, Hearn, Billy Decker.
Yeah.
They're household names at this point, but they're all picking up wins in track championships. But speaking of modifieds, he's a sprint car guy as well. I'm sure you've talked to him several times, but we're going to talk to him as a modified driver. We'll be back with Dave Blaney here on MRN.com.
Slingin Dirt returns in 1 minute on MRN.com.
Dale Jr. here. I wear Wrangler Advanced Comfort jeans for any occasion. With new styles and great fits, you'll look good and feel comfortable anytime, anywhere.
Wrangler Advanced Comfort jeans are built with a U-shaped construction, so they give you more room where you need it. And their 4-way flex technology moves with you for all-day comfort.
In the garage or out and about, Wrangler knows the ins and outs of comfort. Wrangler, real comfortable jeans.
It's all over at Martinsville, Virginia. Richard Petty has pulled it off.
Throwback Thursday, classic MRN race broadcast on MRN.com.
Waltrip will win the track race to turn 3. Earnhardt gets him. Hard into the wall goes Waltrip. Hard goes Earnhardt. Everybody else spins either way.
Out of the number 4 corner down to the line. Neil Bonnet is going to win. The Northwestern Bank 400. He'll beat Waltrip a 2-car length.
What a finish here at North Wilkesboro.
Throwback Thursday, Thursdays at 12:30 Eastern on MRN.com. This is Slingin Dirt on MRN.com. Now back to Ashley Stremme and Steve Post.
You're listening to Slingin Dirt with me and the Postman. Our guest on the line now is a sprint car driver. That's right. We can't help it. But he's throwing it back for one last time at the Moody Mile for the Super Dirt Week race. It is Dave Blaney. Welcome to the show, Dave.
Hey, Steve. Hey, Ashley.
How are you doing? We're doing good here. It's the last one at Syracuse for the Moody Mile, and you are going to be back in a modified. Tell me how this all came about and what's driven you to get back in a modified.
I don't know.
Okay.
I've always, the times I ran that race before, way back in the 80s, I started going to that race with my dad. He would run that modified race every year, and then I started running sprint cars. They had a World of Outlaw race as well on that weekend every year, and so we'd run the Outlaw race, and I got a chance to jump into some modified races. So I did it for quite a while and had a little bit of success, ran pretty good, and always with Bobby Hearn that builds the TO cars. He get a car together and crew chief and go running. So he's got with me, and he tries to get me back up there most years, and I thought since this was the last one, excuse me, I ought to go.
Sounds cool. Dave, what do you remember? Because and Ashley and I were talking, and, I used to go up to Super Dirt Week, covered more dirt modified stuff than ever in the sprint car world. And I think the thing that was so cool about Super Dirt Week is you'd get the Tommy Corellis type guys from Lebanon Valley. You'd get the Davey Moore Canadian Blast guy from Canada. You'd get the guys from New Jersey. And then there was always Lou Blaney from out in western Pennsylvania and Ohio representing that. What do you recall of those early days? Did you guys see it the same way, that your dad racing against these drivers from the various regions around New York and the Northeast?
Oh, yeah, exactly the same. You go up there and run with Bob McCready. In those days, he was the man, and Brett Hearn, and just a whole list of them. And man, probably the craziest guy I ever saw race there was C.D. Coville. You probably heard that name.
CD stood for Crash and Destroy. Well, I don't think it stood for that, but a lot of people said it stood for Crash and Destroy.
Yeah, when he was qualifying, I was sure to be up there watching. So it was always a fun race, and Dad had a couple good outings there, and it was always fun to go be a part of it.
Well, you're teamed up with one of probably the best, Bobby Hearn, T.O. You're joining up with Hallmark International for, I believe it's a 4-car team for Syracuse this year. I mean, you've been a bridesmaid several times. Is there any testing going on since it's been a while since you've been in the seat?
No, I think first practice at Syracuse will be the first lap.
Stop it.
But, no, and I've not run one in quite a while. But I have the car owners, Steve Hastings and Joe Knopf. I have run for them before and run for Bobby Hearn a lot. And I have run a lot of laps up there, but it's been a while. So I do hope we can come off the first practice, be decent, and not have to play a bunch of catch-up. But, yeah, I've been close there several times and had the car to beat a couple times and didn't get it done. So I would love to be competitive this year.
How much evolution, Dave, and again, you haven't been in the car here recently, but you obviously see what they have and what they're doing. How much evolution has there been in the cars over the course of time? We talk about this when you don't see kids for a year or two. It's like, wow, they really grew. It's kind of the same thing with you in a dirt modified. How have they changed?
Well, it's almost hard for me to say. I haven't been around them week in and week out. I just, from looking in from the outside, like anything, they keep tweaking them and getting better and better. The engines are definitely way better than I ran up there before, I know. So, but I've got experienced guys, and I've got Bobby Hearn, and hopefully that makes up for my lack of experience lately.
Well, I still think the experience is there. It's just in a different format for sure, jumping from a sprint car to a mod. Is this just a one and done? Are we going to see you maybe tinker with some mods here?
It's hard to tell. We'll see how this race goes. I don't know what Steve and Joe or how much they're wanting to race, and hooking up with the Hallmark group is very cool too. So if it goes well, who knows what happens. I'm still going to race sprint cars a good bit and go from there. You used to go up there and run the sprint car race, and you were just happy to be able to walk out of there when it was over. And the modified race was fun, so I'm looking forward to it.
It really is exciting. Dave, as we look at your career, you spent a considerable amount of time in NASCAR racing, and your life was just totally dictated by that schedule. That schedule would come out in September or October, and you knew where you were going, what you were doing for the next 12 months of your life, okay? You're in a spot now where you've stepped away from that. You get a chance to run sprint car racing. Are you enjoying not being told where you need to go? And when someone calls like Bobby Hearn and says you want to run a modified, are you enjoying the chance to go do stuff like this?
I am. The sprint car side of it, it's frustrating a bit because you don't race enough to be really good, and we have really bad nights and a few good nights, and it's frustrating on one side. The other side, it's awesome to be able to go back and do it and feel like, okay, if we just race more here and get our head on straight, we can run good. But the modified side will be really fun. I've done it with these guys before. It will be really fun if we're competitive, and I think we will be.
Absolutely. And pit stops and all that good stuff, you got to love it. But with Syracuse, we've been talking about this since the beginning of the year. We knew that the possibility was going to be the last time there. You're getting the opportunity. after this year, the track's going to be done away with. Where would you like to see? I know there's no track that has the history behind it that Syracuse does, but if you could pick one track that you would like to see this race go to, where would that be?
Boy, I don't know. I've thought about it, and that place, the Syracuse Mile, is so unique, and it's been there. They've had that race so long. I don't see how they can even come close to replacing what they've got. I mean, I'm sure they'll come up with something, and it'll be cool, but that's definitely an era that's not going to be replaced.
For sure. It really is. It is going to be interesting to see how this plays out and how it happens. This being the final one, was that the big kicker as far as getting you behind the wheel of this thing? Is that kind of the main reason, beyond wanting to do it and wanting to go racing and Bobby and everything else, but this being the last one, how critical was that to your decision?
It was one of the reasons for sure. All these guys together, Steve and Joe and Bobby Hearn, that was part of it. You know, like I said, I was familiar with them, and I know I can trust Bobby Hearn to have, I know I'll have at least as good a car there as anybody else. So that's nice going in. And, the last one probably did sway it. I couldn't do like I do most times and say, I'll do it some other time. But so I had to go.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, Dave, we appreciate you being on the show, and we wish you the best of luck, and we'll be up there actually cheering you on that weekend.
That'd be great.
Awesome. Good
Appreciate
luck.
it.
Thanks, Dave.
I love it.
Really cool. You know, Ashley, I grew up, and as we talk about Super Dirt Week, I agree wholeheartedly, and I was very saddened to hear that the track is going away. I know it was a valiant fight by a lot of people, but the minute that I heard the state of New York was deciding they wanted to do something different, I said, this isn't going to end well. You just know. You get politicians involved with it, with money involved in it, and it's not going to end well. I mean, that's life. That's beyond racing. You know, my take on Super Dirt Week, and from the racetrack perspective, it is such a unique place, as Dave talked about, and sometimes, I've just got to be brutally honest, the racing there is less than compelling. Okay? It's the pit stop, it's fuel mileage, it's tough to pass. But the problem with that is, I mean, dirt modifieds are better, in my opinion, on a third mile, a half mile racetrack than they are on the mile. Okay, from the race perspective.
Right.
The challenge, though, to me is replacing the event.
Absolutely.
Because that Moody Mile, I mean, my gosh, people have been going there and freezing their butts off for Super Dirt Week for years.
44 to be exact.
44
it'll be
years.
44 this year.
Yeah, exactly. And the old bonfire area out there, I forget what we used to call it, the pit or something like that, and the parties and the periphery races. Used to jump in the car and go to Brewerton, jump in the car, go to Rolling Wheels. And so I just can't imagine how they're going to replace it, because they'll be able to replace the racing on the racetrack.
Sure.
The dirt modifieds will put on a great race, whether it ends up at Rolling Wheels or Glenn Donnelly's track in central New York that he's building, or Fulton, or wherever it ends up going. I mean, we don't know what the answers, and probably don't even know what the options are. From a racing perspective, I think it'll be fine. It's just that event.
Well, that's what I was going to say. I mean, can you honestly, you know, I've looked at several of those places, and I don't know if any, and I'm not trying to dog Central New York and their racetracks. I just don't think there's a facility that can facilitate a week of racing like it did at Syracuse.
Yeah. I think there's tracks that could do it, but do you still have that special nature?
Well, that you're going to lose no matter what.
You're going to lose that as the whole thing, and that's kind of what made this. You know, I mean, I remember, man, my fall would be the Northeast 150 at Weedsport, and then the Rolling Wheels 200, and then the Fonda 200, and the Southern Tier 100 at 5 Mile Point, and Super Dirt Week up at Syracuse, and Eastern States 200, you know, and back Flemington 200 even. You know, you just go week to week and live through these things. And while I was not really a huge fan of the racing at Syracuse, the event was spectacular, and I'm pulling for them. I just don't know how you replace that event.
Well, like we've said before, you know, you go for a party and a race breaks out.
Right.
That's what happens
That's what
in
it was,
Syracuse.
too, yeah.
And we had Chris Dolak on last week, and he was telling us a little bit about it, and they are looking to keep it in the central New York area
which that's great.
Politics do realize that it is a moneymaker and that it's best to keep it in their area.
When this first went down, people are saying, take it to Eldora, take it to the dirt track in Charlotte. And I'm like, well, how in the world does that benefit the folks in New York State that
Right.
love their dirt modifieds? I mean, hey, good. Look what we're doing for you. We're giving you a 12-hour road trip. I mean, I love the idea that they're keeping it in central New York. I love that they're keeping it there. And it's just going to be interesting to see how this event is replaced. And sad that we're replacing it because the event itself was just something always special.
Yeah, and like I said, like Chris, he said they were going to do some special stuff and really try to hit the history of Syracuse.
Yeah, it's going to be good this year.
Since it is the last one. And I've heard that tickets are getting slim already.
Well, as it should be. It should be.
I mean, it's the last one. And they are going to preview it or do it online. I forget off the top of my head who is running it, though.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I don't remember. But you shouldn't watch it online, okay? It's the last one. You need to be there. There's no doubt about it. It's going to be great. They're going to actually go back and actually interview some fans from what I hear as well that have been going every year for the last 44 years.
That's
so
cool.
that should be really
That's
cool, too.
cool.
But coming up next, we have Rick Eckert, your Firecracker 100 winner, here on Slingin Dirt on MRN.com.
Slingin Dirt returns in 1 minute on MRN.com.
For a professional option of moving your trucks and heavy equipment safely, effectively, and on time, you can count on Houseby Transport. We serve nationwide and global industry-leading companies through a network of experienced carriers. We provide both drive-away and hauling service, regardless of equipment size. We handle all permitting, making your transport and logistics job that much easier. For more information or to request a quote, contact us today at houseby.com.
Your regular weekend pit stop for country music at the speed of sound is at America's Tailgate Party, NASCAR USA. Join host Rob Tanner as he cooks up 2 hours of tasty country hits. The grill is sizzling with hot news, features, and reports from the racing hub of North Carolina and straight from the tracks across the country. The race is on, and we've got you covered. Rev up your weekend at America's Tailgate Party, NASCAR USA. This is Slingin Dirt on MRN.com. Now back to Ashley Stremme as Steve Post.
Welcome back to Slingin Dirt. Y'all, I know I say this all the time, but sometimes I'm thankful you can't see our breaks, and other times I wish you could really listen in to what we have going on here. It is an absolute good time, especially when Steve Post is in the house. But joining us in the house now, well, I guess he's not in the house, but he's on the line. He's got a new hot rod, and he's your Firecracker 100 winner. He is the scrub, Rick Eckert.
Well, you sound like you're from the South anymore.
It's funny, Rick, that you say that because people down here are like, where are you from? And then everybody back home's like, man, you've been in the South too long. But speaking of being from Pennsylvania, and finally somebody has kept the trophy in Pennsylvania, and I couldn't be happier that it's you, Rick. We might have to nickname you the Firecracker because I think it would fit you rather well.
Yeah, it was cool. I didn't realize nobody from Pennsylvania had won that race before. I thought Chubb maybe have, but it's cool to be the first guy to win it, for sure.
Tell us about the race.
The race, I actually drew the pole, which I won my heat race, and usually in the redraw there was 8, so I draw 7 or 8, and somehow I drew the pole, and on the start I knew I was going to be in trouble. Jared Miley started outside pole, and he's really good, and there was a cushion, and he's a really good local racer there, and he got the lead, and I run second for a little bit, and when I restarted, Darryl got by me, so I was running third, and I got back by Darryl, and then he broke, like, the same lap. I'm not sure what happened to him. It caused a pretty big crash, and then I chased Jared for 60-some laps till I finally got him cleared, and then I got him past, and I was feeling pretty good about myself, and then I looked left, and Clanton's underneath me, so I was like, well, this didn't last long, so I kept changing my line, and I did everything I could to try to fend him off for the last 25 laps, but it was a pretty good race, really.
Well, you previewed it the night before with the Working Man 50 with a 5th place finish, which isn't bad. But I did read that it was a very racy track, and it kind of sounded like you could kind of have your pick of where you wanted to race.
That racetrack is awesome. That track crew does a great job, and that place was it would get slippery and get slippery from top to bottom. They don't have a cushion, but they'll have it so far out there that, man, you got to be a guy good on the cushion to keep up out there. And that Jared did a great job for 60-some laps, and it just got out there so far. But like when you call it lap traffic, it didn't matter where they were. You could go around them or you go under them. As long as they were in one line, you could pass them.
Rick Eckert joining us here on Slingin Dirt. Rick, when you I do a lot more with the sprint car stuff, and we talk about the World of Outlaws when they roll into different regions of the country. We know when they roll into your area up there in Pennsylvania, they've got a handful with the Pennsylvania Posse. As a late model driver, is there a specific region? I mean, you talk about Jared there at Lernerville, but are there locals at certain areas that you run into that are just maybe a little more challenging or a little bit tougher than some other areas? Are there some tracks you run into real tough locals at?
There sure is. In this area that I'm from right here, that I race, like Hagerstown and Winchester and this area around here, the locals are really tough there. And it's funny when you go home to race, everybody says, "Oh, you're going cherry picking." The problem is, around here, I turn into a cherry more than anything. You know what I mean? But these guys are real. There's probably 5 or 6 of these guys could win a World Outlaw race any given time. If they can put a whole night together. Sometimes they get a little bit behind early, and then it's harder to make it up with the crowd that we race with.
Mm-hmm. Well, the next two cents that David had to add, and he told me that I had to tell you this. He said he knew that you still had it as a race car driver. You just needed to get a better car underneath you.
Well, all cars are good for somebody. You know what I mean? The cars
Exactly.
I had weren't that good for me, and I changed into this car, and turns out it fits my driving style fairly well. And as soon as I figure out what changes I need to make to it, I think we'll be even better. I really been just racing at base stock the way they told me to race it. So I haven't made a lot of changes because it's been so close that I hate to mess it up.
How tough is it, though, in layman's terms, when you make a change, what's different?
What is different in
the new car, the new chassis, the new setup?
Well, no matter what, all cars are built, even though they're all 4-link cars.
Yeah.
Pretty much, you get in a Bloomquist car or a Longhorn car or a Rocket car or a Masterville car or on down the line. Even though they're all 4-link cars and all pretty similar, they all drive a good bit different. Some of them will be tighter into the corner, some will be tighter off the corner. Some, it's just, and then you gotta try to make it fit your driving style. And some just, when you get them instantly are to your liking.
David always says it's all just a bunch of tubing. It's all up to the driver to figure it out.
I heard Ed Basie one time, he won a race, and he was in a Walter Newman car years ago, and somebody said, "What do you think of that car?" He said, "They're all tin and tubing." That was the funniest thing I ever heard.
That's exactly right. Well, coming up, we have the World 100 this weekend. Are you parked yet?
I'm not going.
What?
I am.
Wait a second. You mean to tell me that you are one state next to the biggest race of the year, and you are not going to Eldora?
Listen, I'm one state. It takes me 5 hours to get to the state line to that side of the state, and then I got to go all the way across that state. The distance is no problem. I'm pretty far behind on what I'm doing. And I've got some new things I'd like to try, so I'm going to try to get all that stuff geared up and run. And we got Berlin starts the next Thursday, which is a World Outlaw race, and or 2 races. And so I'm trying to figure out what I need to do for changes. So I'm making some pieces and trying to get caught up here, and it's just such a rush that I can't. I could get there, but I'm not going to be fully prepared. And if you're not fully prepared for that crowd, you're in trouble.
So you basically, it's kind of like business mechanical end of it versus racer. I mean, the racer wants to go and conquer Eldora. I get that. We want to do that. But how tough is that decision to make? When we deal with it with guys, one of our sprint car buddies, Wayne Johnson, lives in Knoxville, but he made the decision not to run Knoxville this year. Hart wants to run Knoxville. Mm-hmm. Wallet and business says it doesn't make any sense to do this. Your situation with the parts and the pieces that you're working on, how tough is it, though, for a guy to make a decision like this?
Well, it is hard, and I didn't make a decision until actually yesterday. And I was trying to get all my ducks in a row and it just not going to work out. You know, I was going to make it, but I was going to be last minute. And like I say, you go to Eldora, you better be prepared. Because there's going to be 50 other guys that are prepared.
Well, I would say that you're prepared. I'm pretty sure you just picked up a $30,000 paycheck this weekend, and you're winning races. You're in the top 5. I would personally, I mean, I'm not trying to sway your decision. Maybe I am. I don't know. But we all know how racers are. They're going, they're not going, they're going, they're not going. I mean, how much? I mean, I don't want to dig into what you're trying. I understand that you're trying to probably find some developmental R&D stuff, but
actually, it's not even that complicated. No? I'm just trying to figure out what changes I need to make, you know, at certain times. So, but I don't feel like I don't feel like I'm that comfortable when the racetracks are really fast. But I figured out what I need to do to qualify, and you better be prepared to qualify good at Eldora. You know what I mean? Because if you don't, it's a pretty tough crowd. So I need to figure out a couple of small changes that I need to work on. But no, I'm not reinventing the wheel or anything like that for sure.
Sometimes that's not a bad thing. Stay inside the box.
Exactly.
For sure.
Where's your husband at?
He is in Boone, Iowa for the IMCA Super Nationals.
Are you going there? It's supposed to be really hot.
You know, I'm not going there. They don't allow dogs. So, my children.
Wow.
Yeah. Well,
there we go, too.
They get 800 cars there. If you figured every person had at least one dog, we have 3. That's a lot of poop to clean up.
There you go.
I understand.
Now that makes sense. I didn't get the dog thing until you brought it to poop. Now that makes sense.
Yeah.
I love
makes
it.
Total sense.
We actually have a customer out there that has asked David to go out and help him this week. So he is actually spectating.
Oh, he's not driving?
No, no. We went out to Fairbury and we ran there, and then we loaded up, and he went on to Iowa, and I came home.
Oh, he'll have a lot of headaches this week.
Yeah, probably.
From hangovers.
no. Well, you know, that would probably be the case if he was the one racing. But being that he's on the business side of things right now, and he's got a customer there, and we're trying to help him, he probably won't be. He's got his business hat on.
That's good.
That's what I told you to.
Yeah. There we go.
I love it.
Hey, Rick, my final question is, how does a guy in York, Pennsylvania end up a late model racer?
Right?
Well, my father was a race late models around here when I was a kid, and I actually did try to drive a sprint car for a little while, and it didn't go so well, so I cut back in my late model, and it is odd for a guy in this area, but this area is, if you go, I'm in a strange area. If you go half hour east, it's all modified. If you go an hour north, it's all modified. If you go right where I'm at, it's all sprint cars. And if you go south, it's all late models.
You're right.
So you could drive about anything from where I'm at here.
Yeah, that's a good point. You're right about that. Yeah,
and Pennsylvania is starting to field a lot more late model drivers.
Yeah, they are. I mean, and if you go west of us, like if you go west at all, it's all late models. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So I'm in that one little sprint car area.
I love it. Well, I am upset that you will not be at the World 100, but for all good reason. And what's your next race then?
We go to Berlin, Michigan next week.
Did say that.
So it's a World Outlaw Races, so we'll go there and run that. And trying to get our stuff together to where maybe we can run the Dirt Track World Championship or something here later in the year. You know, we didn't really have a lot of plans because we weren't running very well. So now when you get running better, you want to race more, but you need to make sure you're prepared to do that.
That is absolutely right. Well, we hope to see you down here in Charlotte. And if not, we'll be talking to you soon because I'm sure you'll be picking up another win here.
I'll see you in Charlotte for sure.
Sounds good. Thanks, Rick. Appreciate you being on today.
See you guys.
See ya.
Cool, man.
I love that man. I met him in 2005, the very first time we sat down. I was Miss Motorsports at the time, and we sat down to sign autographs. And at first, I'm like, "Who is this dude?" And now he's a hoot. I absolutely love him, and the fact that he's willing to, step back and say, "Hey, I'm just not ready." It takes a big man to do that.
I mean, and I respect that, and that's what we talk about with different other drivers, where you have to, that business makes more sense than the passion of it, I mean, and we love the passion of our racers. We love the passion of Rick Eckert. We love the passion of these guys. But what good does passion do you when you pull it into Eldora and say, I'm coming out here to get my teeth kicked in?
Right.
How does that help you?
Yeah.
How does that help you where it's like, okay, yeah, I want to go win the World 100, but I want to win it next year. When I walk into there, when I pull in there next year, it's like these guys are getting ready to get it. And that's the thing, and I respect that so much when your head with the business can make that decision over your heart of I can go do this or I can carry this thing. A lot of respect for Rick said there because he wants to be out there doing it, but you just can't go out there, walk into the place knowing I'm here to get my butt whooped. That's not good.
Well, then you've got people like Davenport, who's been on a huge tear this year. Up until the last few weeks, he's finished second to Scott Bloomquist in the last how many races? I mean, when you've got two guys that are absolutely dominating right now, and Davenport swept the dream. I think that's unheard of at Eldora just a few months ago, and he's going back there, and I'm sure he's going to be more ready than ever. But hopefully he'll be adding a world globe to his trophy.
World 100.
The World 100. Derrick Ramey joins us next here on Slingin Dirt on MRN.com.
Slingin Dirt returns in 1 minute on MRN.com.
Ante up, sports fans. NASCAR returns to Kansas City Sunday, October 18th, and the stakes are high. Who will win the 5th race in the chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup? Will it be Harvick, Logano, or Johnson? How about Edwards, Boyer, or Dale Jr.? Streaking past at more than 200 miles per hour, they're all in. And don't miss 3-time winner Jeff Gordon in his final full-time season race at Kansas.
And Jeff Gordon is right where he needs to be.
Start early with free parking and world-famous Kansas City tailgating. At race time, fill a soft side cooler with your favorite food and beverage and bring it with you. How will the tables turn for the biggest stars in NASCAR? See for yourself, live at Kansas Speedway. Tickets for the Hollywood Casino 400 NASCAR Sprint Cup Series race are on sale now for $99 or less. Kids tickets are just $29. Call 866-460-RACE or visit kansasspeedway.com today.
This is Slingin Dirt on MRN.com. Now back to Ashley Stremme and Steve Post.
Welcome back. I'm Ashley Stremme alongside my good friend Steve Post, and you're listening to Slingin Dirt. Joining us now is the current national points leader as well as Southern points leader of the Renegades of Dirt Modified Tour, and a personal good friend of ours. A little shameless plug here. He is one of our lethal chassis drivers. He's a lethal assassin. Derrick Ramey, welcome to the show, Derrick.
Thanks for having me on.
So there's one race left, and I believe that I'm understanding that it's kind of a crazy format that they're doing for the last race for the National, the Southern, and the Northern points. Can you explain that a little bit?
Yeah, it was supposed to be a 2-day show, and then they limited it to a 1-day show. So we got 3 points races back to back to back in one night. So, I mean, and the track we're going to, it's a little bit of a motor eater track. So it's going to be tough. I'm going to have to play it smart and just stay out of trouble and see if I can't bring home the points championships.
So all 3 are on the line in one night.
Yeah. Yeah.
Who came up with this idea?
I don't know. I guess the series directors.
Good Lord.
Yeah, pretty intense. And like I said, he's leading national points.
Yeah, sure.
And Southern. And I believe you're third in the Northern points. Is there an opportunity for you to win the Northern as well?
I think the best we could finish is second. I'm pretty sure. I don't think there's no way we could end up winning it. But
have they broke it down as to who's going to be racing first, if it's the North or the South? Because that would really determine how you run for nationals, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I don't know. They really haven't said how they were going to do it. So. Oh
Lordy.
I'm not sure.
They better get their stuff figured out. They only got one more week.
Yeah.
So it's been a while since you've raced with the Renegades of Dirt. I believe they've been off for the last 3 or 4 weeks. Tell us what you've been doing in the meantime.
We've actually taken a little bit of a break off the modified stuff, and we had to tear our motor apart and tear it down to rebuild it. She was getting a little lapped out, but other than that, I've just been working a lot, and I've been racing some street stock races for a buddy of mine. He's got street stock. We've been running it over at Carolina Speedway a little bit, just
having a little bit of fun, taking a break, but other than that, I'm ready to get back at it.
I love it.
So when you get back at it, you've got, of course, this big Renegades of Dirt show. What other things are out there on the horizon for you as you start to look forward?
After Withville, the very next weekend, we go to Eldora for the UMP Fall Nationals, and then we come back, and then I think we have a weekend off, and then we'll have the King of the Carolina. It's a local race we have around here, and then after that, probably our last race will be the race for the kids out at County Line.
You know, I've got a question, and the dirt modified fans are going to say, "Well, that was a dumb question." Okay, but I'm going. How much changes between the Renegades, between the UMP, between this and that? I mean, how big of a variety of changes do these various races mean you have to make to your car?
I mean, really, the only changes you have to make in between any series anymore is, I mean, mostly all the body rules are the same.
Mm-hmm.
Just mostly it's just tires, and then some series different tire rules, and then some series run like a spoiler, and then some series run no spoiler. So I mean, that's really the only changes you have to run from series to series.
How are you then when talking about tires? Is it a huge difference between the tires? I mean, I know everyone's got tire deals. Are the tires pretty comparable, even though the name on the side of them are different, or are there huge differences in the structure of the tires?
Oh, no, there's a huge difference in between some places you can go, you can run 5-6 different compounds, and then you got some places you got to run like a spec tire, and then some of them you can go and you got to run a really hard tire, a really soft tire, and it's just, I mean, there's a big difference in it. There's a lot that goes into it.
It truly is, and you know, when you jump around and you try to travel, it's nice when they can kind of cooperate with each other and try to make the rules rather similar around the playing field. But Derrick, I know, since I know you personally, I know a lot about what goes on in your camp, and I think it's a really cool deal. It's just you and your dad, Earl, and I want you to talk about that a little bit and how much you guys travel together and how much he plays a part of what you're doing.
Yeah, it's I mean, a lot of people think just because we travel a bunch and we run good that we got a lot going on, but I mean, I got a couple buddies that help me here when they can. My buddy Ricky Cade and my buddy McKinley Puckett, but they both got full-time jobs, and my buddy McKinley, he goes to college, so I mean, when they can't go, then it's usually just me and my dad. But I mean, me and Dad, we've traveled, I don't know how many, we've probably put 50,000 miles on our pickup this year, just traveling up and down the road, racing whenever we can, and just without him, I wouldn't be able to do any of it. He plays a huge part in it, and he's always there and puts a bunch of late hours in the shop with me at night. I know we fuss a lot, but towards each other, but it's all worth it at the end of the day.
Well, you wouldn't be family if you didn't. That's for darn
right,
sure.
yeah.
But Derrick, we appreciate you being on the show today, and we wish you the best of luck, and I can't wait to hear how many titles you come away with in the next week.
Yeah, I hope we can bring home hopefully 2, if not 3. So we'll see what we can get done next weekend.
If you bring home all 3, there'll be a little bonus.
I hope so. That'd be nice.
Awesome. Thank you, Derrick. We appreciate you being on the show.
Thank you.
I love that kid. I truly
That's really
do.
cool.
They've become really good friends of ours, and you know, they were one of the first customers to believe in what David and I were doing with Lethal Chassis, and they really took a leap of faith with us. And when he went down to Stremme, Georgia, and won the his largest race that he's ever won in his lifetime, and just the emotion that was in Victory Lane that night, it really solidified a lot for us on a personal side, let alone a business side. And we're truly blessed to have Derrick and his dad Earl, great people,
really cool.
very passionate, and we're super blessed to have them be a part of it. And it's really cool to have them bringing home a championship.
Yeah,
So,
man, that's cool.
we're
That's
super
going to be
excited.
wild. That's up at, September 26th at
Yes.
Raceway up in West Virginia.
Yeah, it's not too far from here. And I
No.
mean that track is hammered down for sure.
It's a huge track. Yeah,
Yeah.
I've driven by and drove in and looked around. I've never seen a race there. But I
As
drove
Derrick said, a motor eater. Hey, we got to go to break real quick, and we'll be back to talk to my better half, David Stremme from the Super Nationals. You're listening to Slingin Dirt on MRN.com.
Slingin Dirt returns in 1 minute on MRN.com.
Dale Jr. here. I wear Wrangler Advanced Comfort jeans for any occasion. With new styles and great fits, you'll look good and feel comfortable anytime, anywhere.
Wrangler Advanced Comfort jeans are built with a U-shaped construction, so they give you more room where you need it. And their 4-way flex technology moves with you for all-day comfort.
In the garage or out and about, Wrangler knows the ins and outs of comfort. Wrangler, real comfortable jeans.
Live sports are the one true reality entertainment, where a single dramatic moment can become timeless. In NASCAR, Motor Racing Network's live broadcasts elevate your senses to the sights, sounds, and struggles taking place on the racetrack.
Keselowski to the bottom of the racetrack. He tries to slide up. Newman is there. Sideways is Keselowski.
The power of radio to the imagination of the listener. Tune in to the Motor Racing Network. Visit MRN.com for an affiliate list in your local area.
This is Slingin Dirt on MRN.com. Now back to Ashley Stremme and Steve Post.
Welcome back to Slingin Dirt. I would say we're the Stremmes, but I can finally say that. I'm also got Steve Post here, but on the line, my husband, David. Hey, babe.
How are you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
Well, as you know, the PA system that they play music on all night and almost 24 hours is right by our toter, so it's hard to get any sleep, but we're having a blast. It's my first Boone Nationals, and it's going pretty good. We the guy Jason Bolio, who we're taking care of his car, has been really happy, and Kyle Strickler in our Lethal House car has been good. So things are good. But the racing, I'll tell you, they got so much racing here, Postman, that I walk away and go start watching TV and come back and still watch the same amount of racing. So
God.
It's quite the show. It's really great because the health of short track racing, when I look at this from front wheel drives to street stocks, hobby cars, and to me the hobby cars right now have been the best. They're 4 or 5 wide racing, and it's been quite the entertainment.
How do they keep the track in somewhat decent shape?
I'm going to tell you, and I've heard Smoke has talked to these guys. They have a phenomenal amount of farm equipment, and I literally timed this yesterday. It takes 10 minutes. Soon as that race, the 10th race is what they do every 10 races, they stop, and they don't really cut the whole track, like really disc it or anything. They basically finger it. They got a couple tractors with them. Then they got a water truck going, rollers, and I'm telling you, they can turn it in 10 minutes and get back racing. And
God.
The dirt has wood chips in it, so I don't know if that's to get moisture or hold it together or what. They got a little trick there, but the track's been phenomenal up and down. The facility, every night they got somebody come in here, clean, a crew that cleans, because I'll tell you what, they sell beer right here on the ground, so they sell beer here. There's definitely their partying and everything else, but it's quite the entertainment.
So I know when we talked last night, you said they were in the middle of the 13th Pro Stock heat race. Has there been a tally of how many cars are there so far?
I don't, they're doing tech right now. They start tech at 8 or 9. We went through yesterday, thankfully, and we're all good to go. But, I think the sport mods or something, they had 140. Hobby cars had 120. It really is amazing how they put all the haulers in. They park. It's like no other. Probably the neatest thing, and there's a lot of things here that I'm able to take away of and tell a lot of friends that have racetracks. They have like catwalks around the track. And for the for the guys in the pits, it's great because you can go up, walk there, you stand there for, 3-4 races, you'll go back, work on your car, go hang out. And it just doesn't take up as much room. You can see quite a bit. But it's really, I give them a lot of credit. I didn't really know what to expect here, and they do a phenomenal job at running their program and moving it along, even with we've had a little weather and some other issues that they've dealt with very well.
So with the modified you're working on, how does this work now? You get into qualifying nights, qualifying heat races. How do you guys make it to the big show on Saturday night?
I don't even really know yet.
Listen, they've been there 2 days, and they haven't even raced yet.
I know, yeah.
Listen, I raced Saturday at Fairbury, and I really wasn't sure how we were going to get in on that, and we got in. But it was just simple, go out and win. And that's what we got to do here is we got to win the heats, and then so many in the feature, they start them 3 wide. I'm going to be honest, I really don't know.
Is it based on passing points like a lot of the IMCA races are?
No, it's it's just you got to win. I think tonight or tomorrow when they start, the only thing I do know, you got to win all your heats, and then I think win the B main or something, and then that's your feature, and they take so many out of the feature for the inside row on Saturday, and then the same on Thursday and Friday. Again, I'm not quite sure on a lot of that. We're still trying to figure that out. I didn't even know we were doing tech yesterday. I thought it was Sunday. We were doing tech, so it's all I know is tomorrow we definitely race like today, and it's kind of cool when they cut the track and they redo it, farm it, the track. We'll go out and practice, and they do it by number. So we'll get 3 laps today, and that's it. But it's crazy. I'll tell you, it's Postman. It's like Talladega short track style, I'd call it.
Yeah, no, that's one of those bucket list races I've wanted to attend. Now listening to you, it sounds like even more so. Hey, I got an idea on that PA. Get some wire snips. Get some wire snips in the truck there.
Yep.
You can fix that speaker.
Well, this is the thing. We can get on top of a trailer and do it, but I'm not an electrician, and there's a lot of wires up there, and I don't want to get zapped.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure what we're going to do. It was funny because I tweeted about it, and I had about 4 or 5 people come up and start laughing. But it is really cool. I'll tell you, after we went to Farmer City on Friday, got rained out, went to Fairbury on Saturday, and had a phenomenal field of cars, the fans there. And then to come out here, it just, man, I'm telling you, I'm loving short track racing, and it's really neat to see the fans and the turnouts of this, and especially we got the World 100 this weekend. And I know you guys have been talking about that, but it sounds like there's a lot of hot and heated stuff going on there, so it's going to be interesting to see how them late models are too.
Yep.
And wait till you hear this. Rick wanted me to warn you that it's going to be warm out there, but Rick also informed us that he's not running the World 100 this weekend.
Well, I don't understand why he won't do that. He just won.
That's what I said too. But
I'll make sure I get on him. But from what I've heard a lot of stuff about late models, and I'm like, I'm a little disappointed I'm missing that World 100. But these IMCA cars, I'll be honest. Babe, I was going to try to go buy one of them hobby cars because them things look fun, but I don't know how I'd get it back.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later.
Wow. I'm out on this one. Hey, good night, everybody.
Anyhow, awesome. Well, thanks for keeping us up to date on all Super Nationals in Boone, Iowa. I will chat with you later.
Hey,
Thanks.
I'm feeling sick, so Postman's going to have to sit in for me next Saturday. Tuesday, and I'll go find me another short track.
Yeah, I hear you. And you will be divorced. Anyhow. All right. Thanks for being on the show. Love you. See you. Bye.
See y'all.
Wow.
And that's how we operate in the
That's
Stremme
right,
household.
exactly. Love you. See you. Bye.
Love you. See you. Mean it.
All right. Cool.
Well, speaking of World 100 at Eldora, coming up this weekend, if you can't be there, dirtondirt.com will have it. IMCA Super Nationals, if you can't be there like me, I'll be watching it on RaceFeedX.com.
Good deal.
Ultimate is at Modoc this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Mars is two race weekend. Outlaw Motorsports Park in Tri-State. Corn Belt Clash. I love that. The Corn Belt Clash.
Corn Belt Clash, baby.
That's all them corn-fed guys out there in the
right,
Midwest.
Exactly. Those Nebraska boys.
They'll be at Davenport Speedway for the Governor's Cup. And Super Dirt Car Series Friday, Race Mania 11 at Autodrome.
That's the camp way up north.
That's right. Quebec, right?
Yep, indeed. Quebec, way up north. That's another great tradition of Dirt Modified is the trips to Quebec. The stories, the good times, it's amazing. So we'll see how they do at Super Dirt Car Series.
Well, up next you have Wing Nation with us. That's great.
Hey, our good friends, us.
Yes. Thanks for joining us, and we appreciate you for listening to
We'll be right back, everybody.
On MRN.
This has been Slingin Dirt with Ashley and David Stremme. Listen every Tuesday at 11 Eastern on MRN.com for more news, interviews, and opinion from dirt tracks all over America. Slingin Dirt is a production of the Motor Racing Network. All rights reserved.